So I thought of Gianna Petrarca's poem, I'm Looking for My Father's Landscapes. And my daughter was studying world literature years ago. And she said, oh, I gotta read you this poem, it's so emotional. And she starts to read it and tears fill her eyes. Pretty soon we're both sobbing on our way to Winnipeg because we realized that nobody in Canada has their original landscape. We don't, because it got changed by all of us together. We changed Canada. And a lot of animals virtually don't exist anymore, like the buffalo is in farms and minks are in farms. They don't exist in the wild very much. And the trees that were common out here hardly exist anymore. The great elms and the big walnuts this big, you know, they don't exist anymore. So it was just so sad. Canada is a country that, you know, everybody's looking for their father's landscape. Mm. You see down Chinatown, they got the little pagodas. Greektown, they got the pillars, you know, like the Parthenon. And Italian villages, they got the fat ones, you know. It's just, it's all so sad. And I said, what if I did a story about somebody that came back, that had been dead for 3 centuries, and came back looking for his father's landscape. So I decided on, because there's minks on this property, and I know I've seen minks up close. I didn't know they were fierce and ferocious and horrible little creatures till I did the research. But I used to walk up to them, you know, when I was young. Ignorance is bliss. They never got me or anything. A mink can take down a wolf, you know. And they like blood. They like killing. And so that's part of the story. And I thought I'd analyze this. Because you know that guy, the bad guy there, De Niro. Mm-hmm. And Gary Christie says, well, you were trying to kill me. And De Niro says, but I was conflicted. I was conflicted, right? But I just want you to introduce you to all 3 of them. First, he has to come through deep space. I had to research deep space. I didn't know this, but the Milky Way galaxy, the one we live in, is held together by sound. I think it's freaking unbelievable. You know what I mean? Like this song is holding us together. What if that thing stopped singing? Anyhow. So he comes through space. He's landing in this little spot. I see the tip of the land. Let's see if I can get the light right. I see at the tip of the land being, I think I'm supposed to be heading for, at least I hope the one, because if it isn't, there's not much I can do about it now. What did they say? Land feet first if you can. I do a somersault. The next thing I know, I'm laying here inside the thin camouflage of a small bush, not even a very comfortable bush. I landed without hurting myself. Good stuff. This is good. The branches are scratchy and the leaves waxy and stiff. I don't remember anyone talking about scratchy bushes, except Devil's Club, and this is not it. Devil's Club has spikes and giant leaves. This one has neither of those things. The other bushes I've heard of are soft berry bushes. This is not a berry bush. It's not soft. Not one bit. Not so good. I can't remember anything more about the landing or the short flight. I did land with my eyes open though, for which I'm grateful. I close them now to retrace my steps in my imagination. To no avail. How disappointing. I missed remembering the whole business of landing. Eyes open, I look around the bush. There are 2 scruffy-looking minks looking at me. They stare at me incredulous. They must have seen me land. 2 minks. This must be Takaranto. I decide. I am beyond relieved. Is this Takaranto? I ask, just in case it isn't. They stare at me for a few minutes longer. Their faces change. Now they look as though they find me insane. They laugh. Just a tad of derision in their voices. No one calls this Takaranto anymore, dude. It's Tirana. Takaranto is Mohawk. Nobody speaks Mohawk here. Not even the Mohawks speak Mohawk anymore. This seems even funnier to them. So funny, in fact, that they repeat it a few more times and laugh each time they do so. I didn't find it funny. I find it impossible to believe. How do people stop speaking their language? That's just plain insane. I mean, I can't make bear sounds, or fox sounds, or fish sounds. I'm a mink. I make mink sounds. How absurd that Mohawks don't make Mohawk sounds. This is beyond it absurd. It's scary. I know the landscape changes, but how can people change their language? I just don't get it. Their tongues, their resonators, their lungs, their lips, their throats are all shaped to speak their original language. Their very cells speak this language. By the way, this is scientifically true. If you're Gaelic and you're speaking English, your body's speaking Gaelic still. North America has the highest rate of autoimmune disease. I think it's because our bodies speak one language, our brain is speaking another, but that's just me. Anyway, their health depends on the body communication between all the human parts of the mind, body, heart, and soul. And they must speak the original language. And this is also true. They will get sick if they don't speak the same language as their body. And their bodies cannot give up their original language. You can't just give it up. Now I stare at them incredulous. Okay, the old one assures me. Don't get your doo-doo tied in such a knot. He looks at me, concerned that I will lose it if he doesn't do something to assure me. Okay, he says. A few of them still speak it, but not the majority. And even the ones that speak the language still call this Tarada. I'm still staring with disbelief, and I have a feeling that this last remark was the old man's attempt to get me to stop staring back. Stop it, I tell myself. I do. That's about when I notice the smell of the place. I'm fully awake now, and the smell keeps getting stronger and fouler every second that I'm awake. The smell is made of layers of some kind of garbage I don't completely recognize. Some of it is human and animal fecal matter, urine and rotten food I don't recognize, along with some mold and plant rot. But there's also some kind of foreign smell I don't ever remember experiencing. It pinches the nose hairs and causes a slight headache. No one in my grandmother's land has prepared me for it or even mentioned it. It's the foreign smell that bothers me the most. It is now burning my nose. Soon it gives me a serious headache, and now my sinuses are filling up with mucus. The foreign smell combines with all the recognizable ones to form just about the worst possible agglomeration of smells I've ever experienced. I struggle and pray to accept the smell. I can't just return to where I came from. I have to see this journey through to the end. I have to die to go home. The very moment I begin to accept the smell, I wonder about the name change. Tirana? What language is that? What does it mean? This cracks my new friends up. Same as Takaranto, they answer. Okay. Give me some context, I tell myself, so I can understand which of the questions you're answering. I don't say this out loud. To say it out loud would be worse than rude. I would be making fun of their intelligence. Sarcasm is frowned on where I come from. It is witless and mean at the same time. I decide they must be answering the second question, which turns out to be true, when the thinner mate continues. It's how the newcomers mispronounced Takaranto when they came here. So it means the same, but said differently. We all stop talking. They lick their paws. All right. The morning ablutions. Wash up and get ready for the day. Thank goodness not everything has changed. We are quietly washing away when a racket reaches my consciousness. We're in a bush, and the noise beyond it is loud, unmelodious, and unpleasant. There are sounds of alternate humming and clacking without any rhythm. It's coming from next to the bush. Was it me, or did the sound just suddenly burst out? Was it quiet when I landed? I peer out of the bush we're in. What I see shocks me. I don't recognize anything out there. No trees, no rivers, no land. There are beings rolling along on black ribbon-like pathways, going in every direction possible, and they're making most of the racket as they pass all around us. They're faster than any animal I've ever heard or seen, and they're responsible for the painful foreign smell too. Then, like a sudden stab in the gut, I wonder what happened to all the trees and the ground cover. There is no heather, no salal, no ferns, no fiddleheads, nothing. The landscape is desolate, hard-looking, foul-smelling, and busy in a forlorn and alienated way. All these fast-moving beings seem to be trying to get away from each other. The few small trees that there are sick-looking, spindly, and contained in crushed stone boxes. What the? And I stop myself. Even the humans look foreign. Where are the original humans? I'm going to stop there. We have a lot of adventures. They all died. And no, I won't tell you how it ends. He wants to find his father's landscape, but really there's something that's happened to us. You've all heard it. You know, we've been to residential school for some of us 350 years out here, some of us in the West 125. And nobody knew what was going on in those institutions. Not even us, because nobody talked about it. But in the course of writing this, I realized they're farm mink. And all the minks in Canada pretty much got wiped out, then put in farms. And I thought, oh, that's so like residential school. And so in discovering that the kits, the young minks, they're in heaven or wherever the grandmother's land is, I mean, that's the spirit world they're in, they want a story that's interesting. And once you've heard a story of incarceration and slaughter, which is what farms are all about, for furs, you know, let's not pretend it's anything else. You've heard them all. It's a sad story, but it's not exciting. And this is a young kid. He died young, and he wants to go back and, you know, get a story going that's different than the farm mix. So they send him back. And in our origin story, we do get sent back and forth. Some people call it reincarnation. I don't. I call it a different kind of recycling, sort of spiritual recycling thing, you know, going on. So I thought, well, why not? The mink could do it too, you know. And I realized these, in their wickedness, they're also very like humans. We do a lot of killing, wanton killing, and not just other humans, but animals and plants. You know, where you see people walking on plants that you don't need to walk on. We demand grass hold us up, you know. We just walk on it and we don't think about it. Pretty soon we're pounding a pathway and it's not grass anymore. And, you know, things like that we don't think about. And we bring plants from other parts of the world and just dump them places, you know. This mink is freaked out by that. This is a foreign plant. People don't just haul their plants around, do they? Apparently they do, he finds out. And all of these things that are so normal for us are so painful for this little mink, but also it becomes part of the story that he can take back. And he meets these other minks, these two minks. One's an old guy. And then my friend died. And my friend was like a mink. He was minks are trickster figure. And he was like a trickster figure in our community. And he was a storyteller. And he used to look after other people's kids. He didn't have any of his own. No marriage. And I said, one day I said to him, why didn't you get married? He says, well, I'm jealous. And I said, oh yeah? What does that have to do with anything? Lots of people are jealous. He said, no, I like to kill people when I'm jealous. I figure I won't get married and then I won't have to kill anybody. Well, you're just like a Wolverine, I said. I'm like a mink. And I understand now what he means. They kill things. Sometimes overkill. Anyway, that was Coochie. I needed a name for this mink and I decided to use Coochie. And his family has graciously allowed me to use his name. He was a master storyteller. And then Stephanie helped me. I was thinking, how do these things hunt? And I looked up so much stuff on their hunting habits, you know, but she's the one that created the picture. You know, a writer has to have the picture. Like, not, well, they hunt in this time of year, that time of year, and all that kind of stuff, you know. I mean, it's important to know that scientifically, right? but I want to see is just exactly how, well, she says, well, I had to, I'm sorry, I'm imitating her voice. Take the box of mice to the guy who had the mink. That's exactly how I open up the box of minks and all its hit up in less than 3 seconds. It only took 2. So I thought, oh my God, that is it. So I had to do it to birds. Yeah. I went home. It's terrible. But all along, I had to get the mink out of the farm, right? And the old guy's going to visit his girlfriend in the farm, and he's yearning, and the young mink says, you know, he does this all the time, but nothing ever comes of it, you know. So off I go to the farm, and I look up mink farms in Ontario. And the Animal Liberation Front just happened to be liberating 2,800 or 60, I can't remember the number, but they liberated all the minks in this one farm. Okay, you're going in there, because that's how he gets his girlfriend out. All along the way, it's just different people were helping me with this book. And it's done. My publisher wants it. It's the craziest thing I've ever written. If anybody knows my work, it's not the sort of thing I write. I mean, I can't believe I did it. So there you go. I had so much fun doing it. And I really appreciate the opportunity to be here.